In 2 seconds, Kareem Ali will begin to speak. Look, I think that Dwight Howard has a point and a right to feel a way that he can compete with a Nikola Jokic. I think that a lot of times we suffer from recency bias. We just saw Nikola Jokic, the Joker, win the NBA championship. We just saw him dominate the Western Conference playoffs. So a lot of we forget what Dwight Howard was in the late 2000s. We forget that Orlando team, he dragged them into the NBA Finals. And along the way, he beat LeBron James in doing so against that Cleveland Cavalier team, who they were trying to push to get to the finals to meet against Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers. It's not the
And
Dwight
he had
Howard's
a bevy
fault.
of shooters around him on
He
that
did.
team.
He did. I'm not. You have to have, but see, you have to have players. You have to have a team to win. They matched up well. It's not the Dwight Howard's fault that he ran into Kobe Bryant in the NBA Finals. It was outplayed there, but he got them there. See, the problem with sports is we often value offensive players over defensive players. We do it in every sport. I would argue that Dwight Howard is as dominant on the defensive end as Nikola Jokic is on the offensive end. Now, he's not as skilled of a basketball player. Dwight Howard is more like he would have done better in his career if he had focused on being more of a garbage man, focusing specifically on defense, rebounds, picking up the trash where it's left off, running the floor. He can score in the post, even though it was often robotic. But in that time period, if you throw it to Dwight Howard in the post because of his athleticism, he was a threat because the defense will sink around him, which will leave a lot of his shooters open that he would be able to hit, like Hito Turkoglu and Patience Stojakovic and
Lewis.
all those guys, Rashard Lewis. They were shooting over the smaller players that Cleveland had, and Cleveland was actually one of the best defensive teams in the NBA that year. They won like 66 games in the regular season. They weren't a bunch of bums. They just didn't match up well with Orlando. Orlando was better. But it was Dwight Howard and his play in that series and throughout that playoffs that led the Orlando Magic to the NBA Finals. And it was his play that made Orlando in a 4 or 5 year span threats in the Eastern Conference. Dwight Howard, it was a time period where if you came around him, your ability to score was lessened because of intimidations, because of his dominance on the boards, and just his mere presence in the paint and his ability to cover ground. Dwight Howard definitely has an argument. He just wasn't able to get it done. Nikola Jokic didn't run into Kobe Bryant in the NBA Finals. Dwight Howard did.